What up?
There's my pal. I got to tell you, if it wasn't you, buddy, I don't think I'd be here today. I'm telling you.
It's a horrible attitude.
No, I mean, no. I just mean, like,
just gonna mail it in, huh?
No, not mail it in, not anything. I'm just saying that, like, you have that feeling where you just don't want to get out of bed sometimes when you had to go to class, but then you remember, you go, oh, wait a second, producer Courtney's in that class, Lofa's in that class, all right, fine, I'll go suffer through that class.
Katie,
you know what I mean?
Herbert, intern Brian.
Yeah, Herbert, Brian, of course, Brian the GOAT.
Jumbotron 6, I don't know who that is, but I appreciate you.
Yeah, Eric, right? We had Eric,
yeah.
Yep. Shout out to the whole crew, like, I like coming to class when you like the people in the class.
I always hated class, but I did love my classmates. So,
oh man, if I knew I had a good audience, I would go to class.
An audience?
Yeah, class clown needs an audience, man.
It's spoken like a true actor.
Yeah, right. That's exactly what I was thinking for.
No, the classes with the dead audiences were the worst. Those ones are the ones I cut for.
Yeah.
I mean, I never. Shout out to producer Katie, who I was like logging in, trying to set all the Zoom and get everything right and make sure the audio sounded good. She's calling me on the phone. I'm like answering the phone. I'm like, leave me alone. I got a podcast to do. But anyway, shout out to her for being on the ball. She's like, I wanted to make sure you saw the Zoom link. I was like, get out of here. She's like driving somewhere through the Southwest. I don't know. Lofa, it's crazy right now, right?
Yeah, man.
The whole world's crazy. I mean, the Seahawks are losing to the Bears. What is happening?
Yeah, we're officially out of it. I never say die, but now, you kind of have to.
So you're saying there's not a chance?
We've been eliminated. That sucks, man. That sucks. Because that was a game we had.
All right. Well, let's get into it, everybody. Hit the theme song.
Let's get this crowd going now. Come on, get him up. Hawks on three. 1, 2, 3.
Lofa Tatupu is up in the mix.
Go Hawks.
I'm just about that action, boss.
Takes the snap. He's going to throw down the middle. What a catch!
It's intercepted by Lofa Tatupu.
Holy catfish!
Hey, that's great football now. It's going to work now. Let's keep playing.
Who's got my back?
I got your back. That's Lofa. The player. Triple plant. Thunder. On one. Ready. Play.
Russell looking. Russell scrambling. Pump faking. Still looking. Now he spins out.
We got to fly, baby.
40 down the far sideline. He's still moving. He's going to go.
20. 10. They do it again. Touchdown. Seahawks.
It's the Seahawks podcast on the Believe Sports Network, brought to you by Simply Seattle. Everybody, go to simplyseattle.com/believe, or I think it's shop.simplyseattle.com/believe, and then use our promo code LOFA, which is also...
Well, so even if they don't do /believe, if they just use the promo code, it still works.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Believe
either way.
10, BLEAV10.
Yep, you get 10% off at Simply Seattle. And also right now, guys, and we know they like to help charity, and especially this time of year, and we do too. And Simply Seattle is back at it again for a new cause. They're selling $5 T-shirts that have this really cool Seattle snow globe logo on it, and it says Seattle Freeze, which, that's kind of like a inside joke up there in Seattle, if you know what the Seattle Freeze is. But also Seattle right now covered in snow, so also appropriate. And it's just a $5 T-shirt, really cool design. And the proceeds go to benefit area shelters in need, and especially with how cold it is up there and everything right now. Really great cause, and just a $5 T-shirt. So go to simplyseattle.com, promo code BELIEVE10, spelled our way, and check them out, everybody. Lofa, well, on today's episode, the Seahawks, they lose to the Chicago Bears and Nick Foles in the snow in Seattle. And Lofa, I have a million questions and a million opinions, but let's start with you, my friend. I texted you. I think I just texted you oof or something. And you texted back yikes. Yeah. And that was the extent of our conversation, really. So what are your thoughts?
I went to the game. I was there through the snow and all the bad weather. I made it there.
Yeah, you did.
And actually, shout out to the Hawks. They had me as the Hawks legend, so I got to go there. And them and Safeway donated $5K to a charity of my choice, and it was Friends of the Children. So I just want to put that out there before we talk about the game.
No, that's really cool, man. I was going to bring it up because I saw that, on your social media and everything, and people were hitting you up. And yeah, man, you are a legend. And so shout out to them for recognizing that.
Man, it's all the Hawks. They do it right. And the charity they donated to on my behalf was for mentors for kids from, I think, ages 6 to 18. And it's awesome.
Cool. Hey, by the way, while we're on this subject, can we get my man verified on Twitter? Whoever is over at Twitter, or whoever I need to talk to. I mean, Seahawks legend right here. People ask on Twitter all the time. Your followers are trying to get you.
I know. I'm getting made fun of on Instagram for it, too.
Dude, let's get you verified. Let's get that blue check mark. Yeah. All right. Anyway. Thoughts on
as far as the game, I mean, we came out. We had a commanding lead. We were pretty much just kicking their ass the whole game, man, if we want to be honest. And then the fourth quarter happened. And for the life of me, and I've been wondering this all year, why do you stop running the ball when you're averaging 8 yards a carry with Penny? And I'm talking, we were even very creative. We started using gap trap, which is they take guys and they pull. And I was saying before, early in the year, why don't we try this? Because the zone game is just not working, And it also wasn't working because we weren't calling run plays. And so they started running counters and powers, and they were just taking it to the Bears. Dwayne Brown, 20 yards downfield.
Oh, yeah.
I had flashbacks to watching Walter Jones flatbacking people 30 yards downfield. It was beautiful.
Amazing. And especially, I had him on my fantasy team, and we were playing against each other. I had Penny.
We were playing against each other? All right,
yeah, buddy.
I got a gripe about that.
Quarterfinals.
It's bullshit. The 3 guys that carried me to the finals, or the semifinals, Kelsey, Waller, and Williams were all out with COVID. So it's bullshit.
Yeah.
It doesn't count as a win.
Yeah, you had some big games on your bench, and I was able to pick up Penny off the waiver wire, and oh, daddy, I'm in the championship. But anyway.
I hate you. But yeah, so either way, just for whatever reason, what did I say? We needed 25 rushes or more, and we win this easily.
Yeah.
What we ended with?
24?
24 rushes. And I mean, not one of those guys that say I told you so, but I fucking told you so.
We needed 25 points as well, my friend.
Dude, well,
1 point.
I mean, yeah, and we did
one stinking point, one stinking 2-point conversion.
The 2-point conversion.
2-point conversion in the snow to Nick Foles, who hasn't played a game all year. He was on the couch.
That guy was open for an hour before Foles actually located him. Then I was like, oh, he doesn't see him. Great. And then he finally sees him. Guy jumps up with one hand, catches it. We have him. Now, if we can just keep our feet, we can carry his little ass out of bounds, and game's over.
3 Seahawks cannot carry him out of bounds. He's 140 pounds soaking wet.
We collided, and someone behind him fell down, and they fell over him, and somehow it landed his foot and his knee inbounds with his little hand in the air with the ball. And I was like, you got to be kidding me.
All right, we're just jumping right in because, as usual, after a loss, I have no rundown at all. No. I'll take you one step further. How about the play before that? Jimmy Graham.
Just mossing people?
Isn't it ironic? Where's Alanis Morissette when you need her? Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
It's like your former tight end that you never threw the ball to when you needed to, catches a touchdown pass that he doesn't even have to jump for against double coverage. To beat you in the snow in front of your own fans when you need to win mostly because of the court of public opinion. Are you kidding me?
That was a tough one to take right there. I mean, happy for Jimmy G because he's just a solid dude, great dude. He was an amazing, guy for teammate as far as I saw when I was coaching.
Yeah,
and a hell of a competitor when I played against him.
He didn't even have to jump, Lofa.
I was like, holy shit, man, that's awful. We just got mossed.
He looked like the dad in the middle of the living room with 2 children trying to crawl up his legs, who's just holding a ball above their head on that time.
Like playing keep away?
They're like Thor reaching up for his hammer. It just went boom. He didn't even have to do. You guys.
But and I mean, I guess like you said, we might as well get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we throwing the ball up 10? Especially we get into the red zone just to drive before we get into the red zone. Crucial third down.
Mm-hmm.
Looked like we called quick game. We hold on to the ball too long, go backwards 12 or 13 yards, and come out and miss a field goal. And I think that's happened 2 or 3 times to Myers this year.
Yes, it has. Yes.
So listen, now while he has to make those kicks, right, he's
Mm-hmm.
a kicker. You got to make your kicks. He's had some crucial holdings or penalties or sacks that have made his job a lot harder. And while I'm not saying he still should have made and the one against the Saints and I think Tennessee, but we're not helping each other out here. And I think that's the main thing, especially because Russell had a solid day, but even then Russ has to know to get rid of that ball.
Well, back to Myers for a second. Shout out to him for taking responsibility on Twitter. Great tweet because he's seeing a lot of the media has picked it up. Like Russ can't take that sack because then that Myers and Myers, to his credit, flat out on Twitter was like, "Hey, it's not Russ's thing. I got to go in there and nail my kicks, and I will in the future." So respect to him and shout out to him. I mean,
Absolutely.
He seems like a stand-up dude, and that's something you can bet on. BetOnline.ag. Go to betonline.ag. What are the odds on Myers being a stand-up guy right now? Let's see. 1-1, even money.
I don't know if that's a prop. I don't know if that's a prop bet out there.
Because he is. BetOnline.ag. Use our promo code.
Believe 50, BLEAV 50.
You get a 50% welcome bonus when you sign up. There's also a brand new dashboard, super easy to use, and a new mobile app that you can download in any app store. It's Bet Online. Everybody use our promo code. Yeah, man. I mean, I feel bad for Myers because they take these losses in yardage right before he has to come in. But also, I mean, we got to talk about Russ here because wasn't it a play before that Russ, which I've never seen, goes running into the middle of an almost melee between, who was it, Gerald Everett and one of their guys, and Russ goes running in to break it up because he's like, hey, we don't need a penalty right now. You can tell that he's like, being that leader, saying like, let's not get this right now. And then on the very next play, he takes that sack.
Yeah.
Like, buddy, come on. I mean, that was so ugly, right?
It is, but okay, that situation, why are you putting the ball in the air? Like, so you're averaging 8 yards. I don't even know what it was, 3rd and 6 or whatever it was. You're averaging 8.
Mm-hmm.
So by your average, you're going to possibly get that if you keep it on the ground. But either way, you're going to keep the clock running.
Well, and also terrible conditions, of course.
Yeah,
I mean
that's the main point. Is like,
why throw it at all? Like it could be intercepted, it could be fumbled on the snap. Russ could just slip and fall in the snow. I mean, just run the ball straight ahead.
I thought he had a pretty sharp game. He looked decent, right? He made that throw to Metcalf. He had some nice throws out there, Everett. But right there, that is
with the game on the line.
Yeah, game on the line. You have to help him out as a coach and just call a run play. And I don't care if he's mad at you. But he also, as a 10-year NFL vet, has got to know you can't take a loss. You can't take a sack there.
Yeah,
you have to make it as easy as possible for your kicker, man. That's not guaranteed, right? The kicking game's not been guaranteed for anybody in the NFL this year.
Well, and especially in the snow like that. I mean, you got to give them every opportunity.
And then it's a 2-score game with 5 or 6 minutes left to go. So, and then honestly, that last drive, I think we had a couple costly penalties. Not talking about the offense. Offense, we had a couple holding penalties when we were trying to come back after the 2-point. But
that last sequence by the offense was just dumpster fire. Like it was awful.
Yeah,
really.
But defensively, we got to stop them too. We got to get off the field on that long drive, and then you got a chance to put away with the 2-point. I was actually happy they were going for the 2. I was like, good. They're not going to get it.
Yeah, me too. I know. I was like, okay, this is how we win it.
Yeah, perfect.
This is how Pete Carroll and this team always pulls it out, with some sort of defensive heroics, which is amazing. I mean, I don't feel like another team, especially over Pete's span here, I don't feel like another team has won as many times with their defense on the field as the Seahawks do.
No.
And so I thought, we got this. Here we go. Even when I saw him throwing it to the back of the end zone, I was like, it's going to go over his head.
Yeah, that's getting knocked down, tipped. There's 3 guys right there.
Yeah.
But I guess the most alarming part of the game is, outscored 11-0. And you know the mantra of Pete and finishing and winning, and that just hasn't happened. And I don't know why. So
well, that was the game where they had it won in the first 3 quarters and then lost it in the fourth instead of the other way around, like they like to say.
Well, I mean, that's so, obviously finishing's always been a point of emphasis because it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And that's where the whole, can you win it in the first, second, third? No, but fourth, hell yeah. It just hasn't happened this year, unfortunately. And it's a number of things, obviously execution, untimely penalties, but that one, I mean, we all take that one on the chin because up 10 in the fourth quarter, I can't believe it.
Yeah, me neither. I was in disbelief. You know what? I'm a believer in these segues. I tell you, I'm a believer in Lightbox Jewelry. Everybody, they've cracked the science of sparkle. The science of sparkle, Lofa. They have cracked
Sweet science of sparkle.
The code. I can just imagine the guy. He goes running in. He's like, "I've done it! I have cracked the code, the science of sparkle." Everybody, Lightbox Jewelry, guys. They grow these diamonds in the lab rather than underground, and so they don't come with all that carbon footprint and things that your other diamonds, your old school diamonds, your boomer diamonds have. These are millennial diamonds. These are Gen Z diamonds, baby. Lightbox. They're $800 per carat, and they are the best. They're super clear, super shiny. No one can tell that they are lab grown at all. They have the exact same chemical makeup. Go to lightboxjewelry.com. No promo code because you don't need one. They're such a good deal. Let's talk about some good games, I guess, a little bit. Let's go with some positives, Lofa. Rashad Penny looks good for the second week in a row. He had a great game. Yeah. Shout out again to my fantasy team. I got to gloat a little, but good for him, right? He's laying down some great tape. I mean, what do they do now with him?
So, Pete made the comment that he has to be in the future plans. And again, okay, this is the first time he'd stay healthy. Like, I love Rashad, just like I love Chris Carson.
Sure.
But they have not made it through a full season. Not either one of them. And I don't know what the future holds for Carson, because I think he needs surgery on his neck. That's a very serious issue. But if you're going to sign Penny, and like I said, this is my fear. He's just going to do just enough to ball out. Someone else is going to get him on a relatively team-friendly deal. And then he's going to go to like 3 or 4 Pro Bowls for them and, never miss a game. But
if he stays with us, it's like a hamstring in training camp.
Yeah. And so, I wish the kid well. I think if he does come back, it has to be – doesn't even have to be a team-friendly deal. It has to be a fair deal in terms of not compensation, but, hey, if you don't play – not that you don't get paid, but you're getting, half of what you should. It should be on in-game roster bonus tied to actual playing amount, because he's great when he's out there. He's just never out there. So he can make, more than league average. I'm not saying he, cut all the way down to league average, but, it could be done. We can get creative with that contract. And I think it could be fair both sides, but I don't think, with what he's showing right now, I don't think he's gonna settle for a hometown discount.
No, he's looking good, and especially if he can stay on the field through these last 2 games. Yeah.
Well, what was really surprising? There was like 2 or 3 runs that he broke for 12 or plus yardage, where there was like nothing there, and he just made a cut. Saw something and made it happen. And then there was others like his shorter runs, the hole's wide open, and. Yeah. So those are the ones I thought he was going to break for like 30, and there's turn around, and the one he weaved all the way across and up the sideline, that one was like, man, how did he get out of that, that mess?
I mean, it's hard not to be excited or tantalized a little bit, just because it's like look, maybe he's a bit of a late bloomer. He's maybe finally healthy. And again, no disrespect to Chris Carson, but if he's not able to come back from what could be a pretty serious injury, in Rashad's mind, it's got to be like, hey, this is my team now. I'm running back number one. And he hasn't ever had that in the pros yet. And maybe that's like a huge motivator. It has to be, right?
Yeah. And he's excited. I think he's just relieved that, it's gone a full month. I think he's had over 400 yards in the month. Only Jonathan Taylor's had more than him, and from Indy. And he hasn't had a setback in terms of an injury. Nice transition there.
I had to change my background. I in all the excitement or lack thereof of getting ready for this episode of being upset about the Bears and everything, my background was still from the Rams game last week. I can't look at those uniforms any longer than that. It was driving me crazy. Another good game, at least in the first quarter. Kalen Zacharias Metcalf, that touchdown pass was sweet, and the touchdown catch was sweet, especially in the snow. That was awesome. But it comes in a loss, and it also comes in him never getting the ball again for 3 quarters. WTF again for Metcalf. I
don't know.
What are they doing, man?
Because, that first one, it was a beautiful throw by Russ, amazing route. He just, what was it, like 5-6 yards separation?
Went by the guy like he's standing still. Isn't that guy still on the field in the second, third, fourth quarter? What the heck are we doing?
I was up there, and as soon as I saw his release and I saw Russ drop back and his shoulders tilt up, I said, we're going downtown. And everybody's looking at me like, what? And all of a sudden he, uncorks a, 60-yard spiral, and everyone's going wild. And I was like, you guys didn't see that? So that was fun. But then my question is, you can do a couple of those a game, almost like Randy Moss.
Absolutely.
Even if he's got 2 guys on him, that's still a good 70-80% chance he's coming down with it. So just give him the chance,
Yeah, man. Aqib Talib was on the telecast, and he's going, oh, they're going to go all goes here. They should. He's just calling it all game long, and they just keep not doing it. It was maddening to be watching, because you're like, yeah, Keeb, that's a great idea. And then, nah. I don't get it, man. Yeah. If I'm playing Madden, come on, guys, let's be real. If I'm playing Madden, I'm doing that same play to DK all day long.
3 targets in the first series, right, where he had the touchdown, and then he got 1 the rest of the game or something.
It makes no sense at all.
And it's not like we weren't throwing the ball. We still threw it another 27 times, which I don't know why we did that. But if none of those targets are going to go to him, then I don't know. What are we doing?
If I'm honest, there was Russ did have a pretty clean game, like you said, but there was a couple of there was one third down that we had that he kind of overthrew him. Was it DK or was it Gerald? Maybe?
I think it was DK. Yeah.
Okay.
I think he had
and it was
overthrown.
It was like a 3rd and 4, and it was like, man, we needed that one right there. There was just a couple moments, and that's what this whole season has been. And I'm sure that's what every season is, but it just these little moments, just these little plays, a little holding call here or there, a bad sack when you really can't take a sack. Throwing it out of bounds rather than finding DK over the middle. How many times did someone show you that all 22 from the Rams game where DK is just running wide open and he just doesn't get it to him. He gets sacked instead. I don't know, man. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to watch. Yeah. And it just doesn't seem like the football that we've been used to. Obviously, it's not.
It's not.
But everybody's full of suggestions. Everybody's full of ideas for this team, right? And I guess maybe here's where we can be zoning in. And I'm going to go over to Twitter and zone in on some people's questions that they have specifically, Lofa. And we zone in, of course, because of Zone In CBD, the best CBD in the biz. It's Lofa's company. If you are using CBD, which why not? Energy, right? Cognitive function. How do you say, Lofa? Come on, give me all the stuff.
A neuroprotectant, an anti-inflammatory, and good for gut health.
Sure.
To
focus in, to zone in, everybody.
It's stay present moment, zone in.
Yeah. Use our promo code
Believe, BLEAV,
at Zone In CBD for 20% off of your subscriptions on your tinctures, your capsules, your Topical.
Topical. Energy powder.
Yeah.
You got it all.
Yeah, there you go. What were we going to be zoning in on?
Questions from Twitter.
Oh, yeah. Questions from Twitter. And also, I was talking about Russ, but I don't know.
No, you're saying, what can we do to... Do you mean to play this episode back for you?
Hey, man, we do this thing live. I start talking about zone in. I'm doing all the rapping and flapping.
You said, what can we do to right the ship, you know? Yeah. I mean...
Oh, I know. Yeah, I was saying everybody's full of suggestions and everybody's got an idea, and everybody on Twitter wants to hear yours, Lofa. I mean, what would you do, and in your opinion, and what do we need to do here to get this thing going in the right direction?
Well, I mean, there's 2 games left. We are out of playoffs. It doesn't mean there's nothing to play for. It's just literally you're playing for your job and pride right now. And that's really, as a player, when you have a season like this, because the changes are going to be made. That's just the nature of the beast, man. That's the business we're in. It's what have you done for me lately? So what changes are going to happen? I don't know. But you're really auditioning for your job next year for a lot of guys.
Yeah. Moving over to Twitter here, at Team Pumphy, I guess, parentheses, She-Hawk, asks, amazing Jonathan Taylor says he wanted to be drafted by the 12s, and look at what Uncle Pete did, ? So she's upset about not getting Jonathan Taylor, of course. And then she says, no more LJ Colliers, no more letting AB sign to the Bucks, etc. No more signing average kickers who lost 4 games on their own by missing. I love your tweets, thanks, but she's clearly over it. You know, I mean, is that the problem? Is it the personnel? Is it not making moves when you gotta go out and get that person? You know, where's that fire that we had? Or
no,
why aren't people signing here?
I don't think this was a 1 or 2 player away trade deadline team that you know, we went out and got Dunlap, and he really did change the landscape of our defense. He allowed us to do some more things scheme wise up front, and I think that's why we fell in love with the stick front, you know, playing more of that the last 2 years because of, you know, his ability. And he's got 5 sacks in the last, another guy we give a shout out to, 5 sacks in the last 2 weeks, 6.5 for the year. He only had 1.5 prior to the last 2 weeks, and now he's at 6.5. He's a beast, and it looks like he's using more of his power moves, you know, rather than trying to be fancy and swim move and do it. He can run over anybody. And so I think he's really just doing that. He's just taking a line straight to the quarterback and taking whoever's in front of him with him. So he also had a great game. Shout out to Bobby Wagner, broke his own tackle record. Yeah, 170. He's now only needs like 12 or 13 to break Ray Lewis's all-time record. But yeah, I mean, it's a number of things. Like I said, we weren't 1 player away from making this a championship season. But I think for whatever reason, even with the injury to Russ, you know, we did start to find our identity, and we were running the ball like Pete wanted to do when he hired Waldron. And so, you know, my question is, you know, it's like Russ came back and we went right back to like, well, we don't know who we are really. We're still going to kind of throw the ball. We want to run the ball if we can, but as soon as we know we can't, as soon as, you know, we have 2 or 3 just runs for 1 yard, 3 yards, we're going to air it out 50 times. And, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. And then, you know what? The defense is on the field all day. And then it's just like, you know, it was a number of things. It wasn't just personnel. You know, there was some coaching decisions that left me wondering, you know, what we're doing. And
well, hold on. Speaking of that, back to Twitter. Michaela on Twitter asks, what do you think of Cam Chancellor's tweet? What do you think Cam Chancellor's tweet meant? What specifically do you think he wants to talk to Jody Allen about? We can speculate, but I want to know Lofa's thoughts. Did you see the tweet?
Just before I got on here, like a bunch of people sent it to me.
For the record, everybody, Cam Chancellor tweeted, me and Jody Allen need to have a discussion about the future of the Seahawks, #JustSaying. And so a lot of people are just wondering, what does he mean by that? What do you think he means by that, Lofa?
I really have no idea what Cam Chancellor means by that. You know, Cam is very knowledgeable and very passionate. I mean, you saw how much he brought to the field. And so I don't know. Just, a talk before any changes are made, maybe he feels like I do, that they're going to like blow this thing up. And I don't know if he thinks that's the right thing. I'm not saying, anything in that regard, but as a guy who's won Super Bowl and been to another one in Cam, he loves his team. He's still a part of that team. And so maybe, before any decisions are made, he just wants to have a talk with Jody. That's all I could really decipher from that. But yeah, I just got that tweet from a bunch of people like 5 minutes before we hopped on the show.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's blowing up out there. What about you though? I mean, if you could talk with Jody and give a suggestion or even just, anything, I mean, what would you say, or what do you think needs to be done?
Well, this was our first bad season in 11 years, man. I don't think anything needs to be done, but I do think that if, I don't think any changes should be made, but if Russ is unhappy here, like his camp was suggesting, or, there's possible trade destinations like we spoke about, then, that's the change that needs to be made. I don't think, you need to fire everybody. Pete, I think, and John.
Well, it's the three of them, right? Specifically.
It is the three of them.
Well, that's just what everybody's talking about. It's Pete.
It's the
John,
three of them, right?
What's to be done? Does one go? Does all three go? Does two go? And which two? So that's the big talk, everybody. And I mean, I'm sure what Cam would want to talk to her about, right?
Yeah. The only thing in my mind is Russ has one more year on his deal, and he has a no trade clause, but he apparently would be willing to waive that to go somewhere of his choice. And, I think he's earned that right. If that's what is in his heart, he's got his legacy to, look after in regards to his whole career. Right. And it is what it is. It's kind of like it's a new day and age of free agency and players, taking control of what they can control. And so I'm happy for players in that regard, because otherwise I've seen plenty of guys get locked into like contracts and then, things like this happen and they have no control over their destiny. Right. So if he wants out, then I think you make a trade with whoever he wants to go. He's earned that much, and there's going to be a big deal for him. There's going to be a ton of teams coming after it. And, but I don't think, because I know everybody's like, oh, well, Pete needs to go and John needs to go. I'm like, okay, like, who do you think put it together? Like, I know Russ got out there and won the championship and everything, but there was a very good team around him when he did. Mm-hmm. And so it's a tough thing with quarterbacks. And I talked about this on a couple of my interviews this past week, is you have to win it early before the quarterback gets paid. And then down the line, you're going to see what the quarterback is worth in terms of wins. And now, so Russ has the all-time wins and all that, but has fallen short of even the NFC Championship game, right? So,
I think that's what's kind of hard about it is like, especially this season, we're losing to quarterbacks on the opposite teams that we have no business losing to, really. I mean,
yeah, but you know why?
Like, so it's hard when you. So I'm just making the point that it's hard when our guy.
Do you know why?
Yeah,
because the other quarterback has a better team all around.
Or
the
other quarterback gets rid of the ball on time and makes the play when he has to this season. There's been some times when it's on Russ to go out there and make something happen. I mean, come on, they get the ball back, Lofa. This last game, 1 minute left, timeouts.
This was probably the first of the year that I thought roster wise, they should not be able to compete with us, in terms of a loss that we had this year. For a lot of our other losses, they've had more firepower, man. I mean, look at the Cardinals, look at the Rams, even San Fran.
No, I'm with you on that, but we're also getting beat by Colt McCoy.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But okay, again, now who's on that team?
Yeah,
D-Hop, AJ Green. I mean,
DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett,
Connor.
Everett.
Well, a consistent run game, and then a quarterback that actually does run the game run the ball to make the read option more effective. So it's like things that go hand in hand.
Well, but I think a lot of people are wondering, and it's like there's two different camps, obviously, on Twitter. There's the camp where it's blasphemous to even mention trading Russell Wilson,
Yeah, I know.
And then there's the camp where it's like, but hold on. Let's just talk about it for a second because, guys, if you get – hold on. I'm sorry.
I don't want Russ going anywhere. I want that to be clear. But I don't want anybody that's not happy to be here be here. And that is.
And so what I'm asking, and what a lot of people on Twitter are asking is, if you could get 3 number ones for him.
You're not going to get 3. You'll get 2.
Okay. Well, all right, fine. 2 number ones for him. I mean, guys, we're getting beat by quarterbacks that aren't Russell Wilson. So, can't you just win in this league with a quarterback like that? So
that's what I'm saying. How much, faith are you putting in one position?
Right. Me? You're asking me?
Think about all okay. If you look at the entirety of the league, almost every single one that won the Super Bowl was on their rookie deal, right?
Yeah.
I can't even think.
Tom.
Except for Tom. Yeah, because he won 4 more after his rookie deal.
Right.
But in his rookie deal, he won 3 out of his, 2 out of the first? He won 3 out of 4 years. Yeah. He was still on his rookie deal.
Yep.
And then I think he got paid in between his second, I think, Super Bowl was his first big payday. And then, look at Roethlisberger, rookie contract. Russell, rookie contract. I think Eli was still on his rookie, or he might have just got paid because he was 04, and then they won in 08, right? Yeah. So he might have been on the tail end of his rookie. But, so if you have that, then you have the salary cap to go build a team around him. Yeah. But this is now because it's such a coveted position, and it gets sometimes I think it gets overvalued. And I think that's the point that a lot of people miss. Like you're saying, well, how are teams with backup quarterbacks beating us? Because they have a team.
Yeah. No, I know. And that's what I'm saying. And that's what a lot of people are saying is we're not able to afford the rest of the team right now. So would you see a scenario then in which you got to cut that chunk of salary off so that you can, rebuild and grow all these other arms and stuff.
Yeah, I think
whatever.
I think John, Pete, and Russ need to get together.
Yeah.
As soon as the season ends, and just say, hey, do we want to go for? Well, yeah. What are we doing?
Yeah. DTR, define the relationship.
Yeah. If you don't want to be here, that's fine. But we need to know that. But I think it would be a huge mistake to get rid of John and Pete right now. I'm telling you that whatever the disconnect is, and unfortunately Russ missed 3 games, but there was, from his camp that he wouldn't mind being somewhere else. And if that's the case, it's like anybody. You don't want someone to be.
Dude, I'm kind of getting. I got to tell you guys, and I'm just speaking as myself here. My opinion. I'm a fan. I'm getting sick of having a quarterback with a camp, man. It's getting tiresome.
That's how it is these days, man. Everybody's got camp.
Did you see the pregame fit from this weekend on Russell? I miss Dad Jeans Russell, dude. Dad Jeans Russell went out there and won games with a beard and bad hair. Man, Russell looked like
he's always had great hair.
Milli Vanilli walking into the arena or something before this last game. Like, what's going on, dude? Like P. Diddy in the late 90s with the big puffy jackets and stuff, which it looked fresh, but I'm just saying, like, I kind of just miss the gritty Russell, your fragrance makes you a lot of money, but it doesn't win you a lot of football games, my man. Like, it's hard to see all the tweets and the Instagram posts about all of the businesses and the clothing lines and the blah, 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 and then you're losing by 1 to the Bears. When, by the way, you come back in the game with a minute left and 2 timeouts. Come on.
Yeah, 2 holding penalties, though, I think. Did not do us any favors there.
Refs not helping us out.
Yeah, that's critical error, that you just can't have. But everybody in that stadium believed we were going to win that game. You did come back in with a minute, 2 times.
I did too, man.
It's a lifetime.
I had to pick up family and stuff at the airport, so I watched on delay, and I avoided knowing anything that happened all day, and then I watched that one on delay in full. So the whole time I just keep thinking, there's no way. Like, I keep wanting to fast forward, but I'm like,
yeah.
no way we lost this game. Anyway, okay, back to Twitter. Last one, at JK312. It's a Russ question. Should Russell be looking at real estate in New York City? ?
Yeah, New York keeps coming up as the place he wants to go, I guess. I don't know. Again, I just got to have the conversation. Do you want to be here? Yes? Okay, let's move forward. Mm-hmm. How do we move forward? What pieces would you like to see added, Russ? You know, like you bring him into the fold, just like Lee Steinberg told us. He's like, you have to be, when the quarterback gets paid like he does, he has to be, he's now a partner essentially in the franchise. And now let's work with a plan together, because then, you can't, I can understand him having some hard feelings, even with the biggest paycheck. It's like, okay, a lot's being placed on my shoulders, and I'm maybe not necessarily getting the players that I want or need or believe that would best fit, suit my play style. And, okay, that is some pressure. And I know, a lot of fans would be like, oh, well, that's bullshit. You're getting paid like that. You should be able to play with whoever, but it's not. It's a chemistry thing, right? Mm-hmm. So that's my only suggestion is of what needs to for us to move forward as a franchise. The decision has to be made, but I think it's between them three. And I would hate to see it just be like, we're blowing up the operation. Like,
yeah, I mean, so much success, obviously 10 years of success. I mean, wins of any quarterback and coach duo in their time and all of that. Like, I mean, if they've achieved all of that, don't they deserve to try to be able to fix it? That would be my question.
Well, look at the Patriots.
And yeah, no, I know. Wait, we got to go, though. We're way over time. Okay. And we'll continue this conversation on the second episode this week when we look forward to the Detroit Lions, another just juggernaut from the Midwest that we've got to tangle with. And we'll see if we can kind of right the ship, and we'll get into it on the next episode. But let's close out the show. For Lofa, I'm Brett. We want to hear from you guys, too, though. So what would your suggestions be if you were able to get that one-on-one FaceTime with Jody Allen? Hit us up, SeahawksPod@gmail.com, SeahawksPod@gmail.com. Lofa,
hey,
hands in the middle, breaking us down.
I'm just going to say don't panic. And I'm going to bring it back to my thought that I was trying to close with. Look at the Patriots. Yeah, they had a shitty season a year ago. And you know what? Fucking everybody was like, fire Bill, which I couldn't believe they said that shit, but they did.
Oh, but they got rid of the quarterback and drafted a new one.
And they're going to the playoffs. Just saying. Don't panic on 3. 1, 2, 3. Don't panic. Don't panic.
Don't panic.